So over the years, what we've recognized is that just because you buy 10 drones doesn't make a valuable or a drone program that provides some return on investment. It is the action that is taken from the data that is collected, which gives drone technology its value.
You're listening to the Drone Radio Show podcast, the show about drones and the people who use them for business, fun, and research. Hosted by Randy Goers.
Hello, everyone. This is Randy Goers, and welcome to the Drone Radio Show podcast, episode 336. What are AgEagle's plans to serve the drone industry? For that question, we turn to Torres Declet, CEO of AgEagle. AgEagle is a leading provider of full-stack drone solutions for customers worldwide in the energy, construction, agriculture, and government verticals. The company designs and delivers best-in-class drones, sensors, and software that solve significant problems. Prior to being named Chief Executive Officer at AgEagle, Brandon co-founded and was CEO at Measure, an aerial intelligence company that builds software to automate drone operation workflows. In April of 2021, Measure was acquired by AgEagle, and Brandon was named Chief Operating Officer of the company and was elected to the board of directors. In this edition of the Drone Radio Show, Brandon talks about AgEagle, current customer needs, and the overall trends in the drone industry. But before we hear from Brandon, I want to thank those of you who are supporting my funding campaign. Whether it's $1, $100, or much more, you can help defray the cost of production and keep the podcast going and growing. Go to droneradioshow.com/donate. And by the way, if you have a great story on the use of drones that you'd like to share in a podcast, contact me at randy@droneradioshow.com. So let's learn more about AgEagle and its efforts to serve the drone industry with Torres Declet. Let's pick up the interview where I asked Brandon to introduce himself.
Good afternoon. My name is Torres Declet. I'm the CEO and board director of AgEagle.
Brandon, tell us about AgEagle and what it does.
So AgEagle's actually been in and around the drone industry for many, many years, roots in agriculture and hardware, and has evolved over time with the acquisition of two great companies in the drone space, Microsense and Measure. And we are rapidly moving towards providing our customers, primarily customers in energy, construction, government, and agriculture, a full stack solution. So what we want to provide ultimately is the ability for those customers to scale quickly, to really realize the value of the technology, and to collect data that they can take action on.
What distinguishes AgEagle from other companies?
So Randy, I think the big distinction with AgEagle is our team and our vision moving forward. There's probably no other team out there in the drone industry that has as much operational experience as the current AgEagle team does. And when I say operational experience, I come from a company formerly known as Measure that was the largest drone service provider in the United States that did tens of thousands of commercial operations for enterprise customers. And I think that experience in doing those operations and developing the workflows around those operations and leveraging all sorts of different types of technology, multiple types of multi-rotors, whether it's DJI or Autel, fixed wings like SenseFly, and a myriad of sensors, FLIR sensors, Microsense sensors across multiple applications, is that we learned a thing or two about how that technology is deployed at scale. And I think that experience has been incredibly valuable as we move as one of the few publicly traded companies in this space to really bring to bear kind of the best-in-class full-stack solution.
How do the acquisitions of Microsense and Measure fit into AgEagle's overall strategy?
AgEagle's experience really came from the agricultural industry. AgEagle had been, manufacturing fixed-wing drones for farmers, and that was, obviously, in the early days, agriculture was one of the kind of the first movers or first adopters of drone technology. So that is obviously something that has been brought into kind of the new AgEagle, I should say, post all these acquisitions. And obviously the Microsense team has also been around for quite some time, making kind of best-in-class sensors, also again, focused on agriculture. So think of it as a combination of both, hardware experience, sensor experience, and operations experience. And also don't forget, Measure, has a software platform that was developed through all of that operational experience. So everything we learned about how to fly drones at scale has been integrated into that software platform. So moving forward, as I've articulated many times, that full stack solution comes with, that best in class software, which should make it easy as possible for our customers to deploy drones at scale.
How do you describe the value of UAS in today's industry?
Let me get specific here, because I think oftentimes when we think about our industry, when we think about drones, we tend to stop at the airframe itself, right? We tend to focus on the multi-rotor or the fixed wing as ultimately what has value. And what I would argue, Randy, is that what really has value is obviously the data that's being collected, right? And then what even has even more value is how are we putting that data to use? So over the years, what we've recognized is that, just because you buy 10 drones doesn't make a valuable or a drone program that provides some return on investment. What you need to be able to do is somehow find a way to take that data. Let's say it is imagery of, 10,000 wind turbines. And just, we've done this in the past, and help to maintain those assets over time using that imagery. So for example, let's say you go out and inspect that wind turbine once a quarter or once a month. What you want to be able to do is identify problems on that wind turbine. Is there a crack? Is there grease? Are there things we need to do to better maintain this asset? It is the action that is taken from the data that is collected, which gives drone technology its value.
I think many people would like to be able to go out on a site, press a button, and let the drone do its thing. Are we there yet?
As you think about what's possible with technology today, look, in many cases, the way drones are being flown commercially is very push of the button, right? There is still a pilot there because, again, you want all the safety precautions necessary, and you want to make sure that the data that is being collected is as accurate as possible. Keep in mind, reflies are expensive, right? Every time you got to go back out to refly a piece of infrastructure costs money. So at the end of the day, yes, will drones be autonomous and able to collect data on their own? Absolutely. We're not entirely there yet. We're most certainly, as a company, AgEagle wants to get to that point where it is easy as pushing a button from some remote location. The drone is out there collecting the data is processed in the cloud, and voila, you have an image from which you can take action on. Today, obviously we can get that data processed. We can provide those insights. It will be a progression towards that full autonomy over time.
Does AgEagle also provide pilots as a drone for service?
Primarily, Randy, our customers are enterprise customers who have stood up their own drone programs, right? So they have gone out and determined, look, we need, a Microsense sensor, we need Measure ground control software, and we need to buy some, DJI drones and put together a program that allows us to go out there and collect data. The old Measure business, which I originally started in 2014, was 100% focused on that service piece, right? And if you think back those years ago, technology has moved quite a bit since then. There's much greater autonomy than there was 8 years ago. The technology has just gotten a lot easier to fly. That being said, and something that I always emphasize is, to the current extent that people want to remove the pilot from the loop, they're still an integral part of the work from a data check perspective, ensuring that the right data is collected and for safety purposes. There is a skill involved with collecting the right data safely for customers. But no, the short answer, Randy, is that AgEagle does not currently provide, is not a service provider. We obviously think that, our suite of products and solutions today allow our customers to do it themselves.
Customer awareness has come a long way in the past few years. Can you comment on what you've seen in regard to your own customers?
That's a great question. And let me tell you, I've done my fair share of in the field proof of concepts, right? So there was a time in 2014 and 2015 where there was a great deal of hype around drones, and we got a lot of calls, a lot of emails, a lot of requests. Hey, can you come out for my VP and fly a drone for us? And we did a lot of that. And I think it was just because people were just not as familiar with the tech. They'd seen it on TV or on the internet, and they really wanted to get a kind of up close view about what it is the tech was. So very focused on the hardware. Does it fly? show me the types of imagery it can collect, kind of disconnect it from ultimately where I think the tech is today. So, some of our larger customers have, whether it's CoStar or Skanska, have hundreds of pilots in those organizations who are out there collecting data every day. And the reason they're out there collecting data every day is that these companies have found a way to integrate that data into their process. So think of Skanska, a very big construction company. You want to compare as designed to as built. And that is a process that you want to do on a regular basis. And for CoStar, that is in the business of collecting information about real estate. They want to be out there all the time collecting more and more data that they can provide their customers on real estate, the type of building, size of building, condition of the building, location of the building. And all of that is ideally suited for drones.
Can you describe how your software helps improve workflows?
When you look at our software platform, Ground Control, it has within it integrated the ability to plan, fly, and process data. So when I say plan, it allows our customers to go out and decide, okay, here is where I want to fly. Here is the information I want to collect, right? To make that as automated a process as possible. Our flight application allows them to go out in the field and fly. And then our software allows our customers to actually process and visualize that data. So we've integrated Pix4D, which is the leading photogrammetry software platform out there, into Ground Control. So it's integrated right in with our platform. And so that as soon as you've collected that data, you can build your 3D model. You can share that data within your organization. I think that's an extremely powerful proposition.
Is there an ideal customer profile that fits right in with the range of products that AgEagle delivers?
That's a great question. And it's kind of funny because I think about who would be the best customer to land if we could land one, right, in 2021 or 2022. So, we work across 4 primary verticals, as I said: energy, construction, agriculture, and government. And I will say that where we've seen the most traction and what's really interesting to me is, customers that have regular needs for this type of imagery that's collected by drones. And typically those have trended towards owner-operators of infrastructure, right? So companies that have wind turbines, that have solar farms, that have pipelines, that have transmission or distribution lines, or have, dozens of construction sites going at any one time. That's really where we end up seeing folks using the tech, leveraging our software, leveraging our sensors as much as possible.
Of all of the verticals, which ones seem to be the hottest right now for UAS?
I'd say the hottest one right now is most certainly utilities. And when I say utilities, I mean energy, right? So it has been those companies that, want to better manage their asset. And I just came back from the commercial UAV show. I don't know if you were there, but one of the examples that I talked about there was this idea of ground inspection of a solar farm versus the use of drones. And the difference was striking, is that, typically it would take a day or two to go ahead and do that type of inspection of a solar farm. With drones, it takes, a fraction of that time. And that's some real value. That's real cost efficiency, and it can be quantified. And that's so important to getting customers to scale is, tell me how much money I'm going to save. Tell me how many man hours in the field I'm going to save. That is where you get real uptake.
There has been a lot of innovation in the industry in the past several years, and you've been involved in it for quite a long time. Is there a particular application or use case that has really stuck in your mind as something that really was innovative or creative?
When I think about applications, and by the way, Randy, over the course of 8 years, it's fair to say we've probably touched on every application out there, from, drone delivery to inspection of infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, I mean everything from cell towers to wind turbines to solar farms, in agriculture, crop yields, crop health. So, I think all of it's innovative, Randy. I think, people will continue to come up with innovative applications across a number of industry verticals. I think the ones that we're focused on at AgEagle are certainly the ones that are going to adopt the fastest, only because the value to a certain extent has already been proven. But if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on the continued expansion of drone technology and its use for the dull, dirty, and dangerous jobs, Randy. And there are other applications that get more press, but it is really the dull, dirty, and dangerous. And you can clump a lot of different applications into that where the real value comes out. I think we're just beginning to see the innovation, for example, in internal boiler inspection at coal plants. This is a very innovative, area that folks are exploring. How do you fly drones in a confined space to do, an inspection that will require scaffolding, right, in a boiler to do? So innovative things like that. I think obviously BV loss beyond visual line of sight is really going to open the door to large scale linear infrastructure inspection. And when I say large scale linear infrastructure inspection, I'm talking about things that are currently being done with airplanes, helicopters, and satellites. So, when you think of what's going on in Louisiana on the Gulf Coast with hurricanes and trying to figure out where these transmission lines are down, having the ability to send a drone to do that beyond visual line of sight is safer and practically more cost effective than any other means of collection.
What can we expect to see with AgEagle over the next several months?
I'm super excited. I will tell you that, we have kind of reworked our strategy. I've been very public about the direction we're going from a full stack perspective and the verticals we're going after. We're really doubling down on R&D right now. We just announced 2 new sensors last week for the agriculture space, but our sensor team, our sensor division out in Seattle has so much talent, and there's a huge opportunity in the sensor space beyond just agriculture. That's something that obviously we'll explore, in the future. Like I said, we as a public company have, tremendous amount of resource and visibility to do some exciting things in R&D. And I think about autonomy, think about beyond visual line of sight, think about those full stack solutions. And while I can't kind of get into too much detail, I'm super excited that, you're going to be hearing a lot more from AgEagle over the coming months and years with new products and solutions, like I said, across those verticals that I've discussed.
You may know that my background is in city planning, and working in Tampa, coastal management and climate change are major concerns. Does AgEagle have some applications or sensors that are geared toward sea level rise or other coastal issues?
It's interesting you say that because, it was something that came up last week at Commercial AV was, the sensors, the multispectral sensors that Microsense, our sensor division, has developed can really hone in on, water intrusion in agricultural lands and farms. I think that post-disaster, that type of application, that type of data can be incredibly important. I think you'll see, expansion moving forward into, as we think about government, and I think about the disaster response application. There's a lot to be done there. But I think if you looked at our suite of multispectral sensors, I think there's plenty that we can do from a surveying perspective with those sensors today.
Ultimately, what role do you think drones will play?
It really never ceases to amaze me, Randy. I think that what's so great about our industry is people are looking around and thinking to themselves, okay, how can a drone be leveraged here? And whether it's, forest fires or disaster response or drone delivery or infrastructure inspection, it's going to show you essentially how ubiquitous I think the tech is going to be, right? It's not just, it's not going to be limited to any one application. Now, some applications will have more scale than others, but I think you're going to see that the opportunities are wide open. And particularly, since I sit on the Drone Advisory Committee and the BB Loss ARC it's just a matter of time, right, before regulations allow for BB loss operations. And I'm sure, there are folks on my team and there are folks across this industry who've got some great ideas about how to leverage the tech when those regulations open up further.
Is there anything that we missed that we should talk about?
This is like my first 100 days as CEO of AgEagle. I think that, it's a tremendous honor and an opportunity to lead the organization. We've got a team that's coast to coast. It's really about the team and it's about listening to our customers. I spent, the better part of the time as CEO talking to customers, talking to the team, and really setting out a strategic vision where I think ultimately we can be successful in this space. And like I said, I think, the future is bright. I think that, the regulations are going to move quickly to open up and, we'll go from there. It's not going to be a matter of too little opportunity. It's going to be a matter of too much opportunity. And I think placing our bets and moving forward.
And for my final question, Brandon, what message would you like to leave regarding the drone industry?
The time is now. It's time for companies to really double down on their investments in the tech. The technology is proven. It's shown its value. Companies like AgEagle and others are ready to serve and are ready to provide the best solution possible. And I think that we're all ready to scale. And it's just a matter of moving forward and moving forward quickly.
That's it for episode 336 of the Drone Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Brandon Torres Declet of AgEagle. I want to thank Brandon for taking the time to speak with me. If you want to learn more about AgEagle or want to connect with Brandon, check out the webpage at ageagle.com. If you like the Drone Radio Show, please consider supporting this podcast with a small donation. The content is always free, but for as little as $1, you can help defray the cost of production. To donate, go to droneradioshow.com/donate. And thanks for listening. Your support means a lot to me, and I hope you'll listen to more episodes of the Drone Radio Show podcast to hear how others are using drones for business, fun, and research. For the Drone Radio Show, I'm Randy Goers.
This has been the Drone Radio Show podcast. More information on today's show can be found on our website at www.droneradioshow.com. If you're using drone technology for business, fun, or research and would like to share your experience on the show, please visit our website and fill out a guest appearance application. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media channels.